a former slot technician just revealed 11 insider secrets that casinos have desperately tried to keep hidden for years. What you're about to hear comes directly from documented reports, internal casino documents, and testimonies from former employees who finally decided to speak out. These secrets could fundamentally change how you think about gambling, and casinos absolutely do not want this information becoming public. Secret number one: the placement algorithm. Former casino floor manager David spent 7 years working at a major Las Vegas casino, and what he revealed about machine placement should concern every slot player. Casinos use sophisticated heat mapping software to determine exactly where to place their loosest machines, and more importantly, where to position their tightest ones. According to David's testimony, machines located near entrances, cashiers, buffet lines, and main walkways are programmed with RTPs that run 2 to 4% tighter than identical machines tucked away in low traffic areas. David explained that he received weekly reports showing detailed player traffic patterns throughout the casino floor. Based on this data, he was explicitly instructed to move machines with higher hold percentages into high visibility locations where the most players would see them. But here's where it gets even more calculated. The few loose machines they do place strategically are positioned exactly where wins create maximum noise and visibility. When these machines pay out, they attract other players like moths to a flame. You're unknowingly choosing tighter machines based purely on convenience and location, never realizing that the identical game tucked in the corner might be programmed to pay out significantly more. But location isn't the only thing they're manipulating. Secret number two: the loyalty card tracking system. Maria worked as a casino surveillance technician for 4 years, and what she witnessed regarding player tracking cards goes far beyond simply accumulating points for free play. These cards monitor your betting patterns, your win-to-loss ratios, the time you spend at each machine, and even how you respond to losses. Casino management systems flag players who win too much or don't play what they consider optimally. Maria revealed that she watched algorithms adjust promotional offers based on individual player vulnerability. The system identified heavy losers and automatically generated better comps and offers specifically designed to keep them playing. She described a case involving a woman named Patricia who'd lost $800 during an afternoon session. Exactly 12 minutes after her last losing spin, Patricia received a text message offering her a complimentary room upgrade for that evening. Patricia stayed, kept playing, and lost another $1,200 before finally leaving. The timing wasn't coincidental. It was algorithmic precision designed to catch players at their most vulnerable moment. And if you think that's manipulative, wait until you hear about secret number three. Secret number three: the near-miss programming. Former slot technician James worked in machine maintenance and testing for 6 years, and what he revealed about near-miss programming exposed one of the industry's most psychologically manipulative practices. Slot machines are deliberately programmed to display near misses, those agonizing moments when two jackpot symbols line up perfectly and the third stops just one position away, far more frequently than random chance would ever allow. James explained that during his manufacturer training, instructors explicitly described how near-miss frequency gets set at the factory level before machines ever reach casino floors. Some machines display near misses on up to 35% of losing spins, compared to the 5% you'd expect if outcomes were truly random. Here's why this matters. Your brain doesn't interpret near misses as losses. Instead, it processes them as almost winning, triggering the same dopamine response as actual wins. Gaming studies that James referenced in his testimony show that near misses increase play duration by 30 to 40% compared to machines without this programming. He described a player named Michael who started documenting his own sessions after suspecting something felt off. Michael discovered that on nights when he experienced frequent near misses, he consistently played 2 or more hours longer than sessions without them, despite losing more money overall. The manipulation becomes particularly devastating for problem gamblers who interpret these near misses as evidence they're getting close to a big win, when in reality they're just experiencing manufactured psychological manipulation. But near misses aren't the only psychological trick being deployed. Secret number 4 involves something even more sinister. Secret number 4, the celebration feature deception. Within the industry, there's a technical term that former employees use: losses disguised as wins. Slot manager Robert worked for 3 different casino operators over 9 years, and he revealed how machines are programmed to trigger celebration animations and sounds, even when you're actually losing money. Picture this: you bet $10 on a spin, win $5 back, and the machine erupts with flashing lights, triumphant music, and animated celebrations across the screen. You just lost $5, but everything about that moment told your brain you won. Robert explained that manufacturers discovered celebration features on 40 to 50% of net losing spins, dramatically reduced player awareness of actual losses. The auditory and visual celebrations bypass your rational loss calculations entirely. Your brain registers the celebration as a positive outcome, even while your bankroll steadily decreases. Robert described a player named Sandra who recorded several of her slot sessions on her phone. When she reviewed the footage later, she counted 87 separate moments where she'd celebrated enthusiastically during a single session where she lost $340. Former technicians provided documentation showing manufacturer training materials that explicitly stated celebration features were designed to extend play duration through positive reinforcement of losing outcomes. The vulnerability this creates for elderly players particularly troubled former employees. Robert recounted meeting a 68-year-old player who genuinely believed he'd been winning all morning because of how many celebrations he'd experienced. When Robert gently pointed out the player's actual balance, the man had lost $600 and seemed genuinely shocked. And speaking of features designed to confuse you, secret number 5 reveals how they manipulate your perception of something, even more fundamental than money. Secret number 5, the time distortion design. Thomas worked as a casino architectural consultant for 12 years, specializing in what the industry diplomatically calls environmental optimization. What he revealed about casino design goes far beyond simple aesthetics. It's deliberate temporal disorientation. Every element of casino floor design works together to sever your connection to normal time perception. There are no clocks visible from gaming areas. There are no windows. The lighting remains identical whether it's 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning. Even the slot machine screens never display the time, despite having the technical capability. Thomas explained that architectural firms actually specialize in creating these time-divorced environments, and casinos pay premium rates for this expertise. But the temporal manipulation extends beyond just architecture. Former technicians revealed that machines themselves are programmed with variable spin speeds and bonus round timing specifically designed to prevent you from establishing any consistent rhythm that might help you estimate elapsed time. Thomas described a player named Jennifer who set a phone timer for a 1-hour session. She later discovered she'd been playing for 3 hours and 20 minutes. When she checked her phone history, she found 4 separate timer alerts that she'd apparently dismissed without conscious awareness, each one occurring while she was engaged in a bonus round. But here's an additional layer most players never consider. Break periods for slot attendants are strategically scheduled so the same attendant never returns to the same section during a single shift. This prevents players from using familiar faces as temporal landmarks. You can't think, oh, that's the same attendant I saw earlier, I must have been here a while. Because casino management specifically engineers against that kind of time awareness, but eliminating time cues is just the beginning of how they keep your money circulating. Before I reveal secret number 6, one that several former employees admitted they felt genuinely guilty implementing, I'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to this channel. These insider secrets could save you thousands of dollars, and there's much more to expose. Let me know in the comments, have you ever completely lost track of time in a casino? When you finally checked, how long had you actually been there? Secret number 6, the ticket out system psychology. Angela worked as a floor supervisor for 8 years, and she revealed that the industry's transition from coins to tickets represented one of the most financially effective psychological manipulations ever implemented. When machines paid out in actual coins, players had a tangible, physical connection to their winnings. You heard the coins, felt their weight, and experienced a real sense of winning actual money. The ticket system eliminated all of that, and Angela described internal documentation showing the results exceeded casino expectations dramatically. According to the memo Angela referenced, the average player session length increased by 45 minutes following ticket system implementation. More significantly, cash out rates dropped by 34%. Players became far more likely to insert a ticket back into another machine than they ever were to reinsert actual cash. Angela explained the psychology. Tickets feel like casino money rather than real money. There's a psychological separation from the actual currency value that makes reinvestment feel almost trivial. She described a player named Carlos, who started an experiment after suspecting the ticket system affected his behavior. For 2 months, Carlos only pocketed bills, never tickets. He cashed every ticket immediately at the cage, converted it to bills, and only then decided whether to continue playing. Carlos discovered he left the casino with money 4 times more often using this method than he had during the previous year of playing with tickets. But there's another layer to this manipulation that former technicians revealed. Ticket printers are programmed with a slight delay before printing, usually just 3 to 5 seconds. This gives players extra moments to reconsider cashing out, and that brief window proves remarkably effective at changing decisions. Angela specifically noted that this delay particularly impacts casual gamblers who originally just wanted to play a little. And if you think the ticket system represents manipulative design, wait until you hear what they're doing with something even more fundamental to the gambling experience. Secret number 7, the audio manipulation system. Kevin spent 11 years as an audio engineer for one of the largest slot machine manufacturers in the world, and what he revealed about sound design exposes a level of psychological manipulation that most players never consciously recognize. Every single sound you hear on a slot machine, from the ambient hum between spins to the cascading celebration of wins, has been scientifically designed, tested in focus groups, and refined based on measurable player response data. Kevin explained that manufacturers routinely invest between $50,000 and $100,000 developing the audio profile for each individual machine model. These aren't random, pleasant sounds. They're precisely calculated auditory triggers designed to maximize how long you keep playing. During his time with the manufacturer, Kevin described how winning sounds exclusively use C major chord progressions, which neuroscience research has proven triggers pleasure responses in the human brain. Meanwhile, losing spins use what audio engineers call an absence of resolution, sounds that create unconscious tension and an instinctive desire to continue playing until you hear that satisfying resolved chord again. The winning sounds crescendo and extend, creating emotional peaks that your brain craves repeating. The ambient sounds playing constantly between spins use specific frequencies that reduce anxiety and encourage continued play. Kevin referenced internal manufacturer documents that explicitly cited neuroscience research on auditory triggers and gambling behavior. These weren't accidental discoveries. They were deliberate applications of brain science to slot machine design. He described a player named Michelle who conducted her own experiment after learning about audio manipulation. She played the same machine for identical 30-minute sessions, once with headphones blocking the machine sounds, once experiencing the full audio. Michelle documented that with sound enabled, she played an average of 90 minutes longer per session and bet 40% more money overall. But the manipulation extends beyond individual machines. Kevin explained that casino floor ambient sound levels are carefully calibrated, loud enough to create excitement and energy, but never so overwhelming that players feel anxious and leave. Former technicians provided training materials they'd received from manufacturers, documents that explicitly use terms like sonic architecture and audio comfort zone. These materials described detailed strategies for creating soundscapes designed to keep players comfortable enough to continue gambling for extended periods. The ethical concerns around this practice particularly troubled former employees, when they learned the sounds had been specifically tested on diagnosed problem gamblers to identify which audio profiles proved most engaging. But manipulating what you hear isn't the only sensory trick being deployed. Secret number 8 involves something even more directly manipulative. Secret number 8, the bet button manipulation. Lisa worked as a slot machine technician for 7 years, responsible for maintaining and occasionally replacing interface components on hundreds of machines. What she revealed about button design exposes how casinos use basic psychology and ergonomics to increase how much you bet, often without you even realizing it. Maximum bet buttons and higher denomination options are deliberately made 30 to 40% larger, more colorful, and significantly easier to press than minimum bet alternatives. Lisa explained this isn't aesthetic preference. It follows explicit manufacturer guidelines designed to increase average bet per spin. She described receiving detailed specifications for button panel replacements that included precise measurements for button sizing, color selections based on psychological research, and even positioning requirements. Maximum bet buttons are positioned exactly where your thumb naturally rests, while minimum bet options require finger extension that feels slightly less comfortable. The color psychology gets even more calculated. Maximum bet buttons use bright yellow or gold, warm colors that psychological research shows increase impulsive decision-making. Minimum bet buttons appear in gray or white, colors associated with caution and deliberation. Lisa described a player named Raymond, who started tracking his betting patterns after suspecting he was betting more than intended. Over 30 days of documented play, Raymond discovered he'd accidentally pressed maximum bet 23 times when he thought he was pressing his regular bet amount. Those accidental presses cost him an extra $1,800 in a single month. But the manipulation extends further with touchscreen machines. Former technicians revealed that touchscreen interfaces are programmed with larger hot zones around maximum bet options, making it easier to accidentally trigger a maximum bet than a minimum one. Lisa provided internal documentation that referred to this strategy as user interface optimization, but the stated goal in those same documents described increasing average bet per spin through interface design. The vulnerability this creates for elderly players with declining motor control or vision particularly concerned former employees. Lisa recounted multiple instances of older players approaching her, confused about why their money depleted so quickly, not realizing they'd been accidentally triggering maximum bets because of button sizing and positioning. We're getting to the final 3 secrets now, and these are the ones that former employees say kept them up at night. The practices that made them question whether they could ethically continue working in the industry. Secret number 9, the algorithm adjustment windows. Paul worked as a slot director for a major regional casino chain for 9 years, and what he revealed about remote machine adjustments exposes a practice that most players assume is impossible. Slot machines can be adjusted remotely by casino management, and some casinos actively change RTP percentages based on time of day, day of week, and anticipated player traffic. Paul explained that modern casino management systems allow authorized personnel to adjust RTP percentages within regulatory ranges without ever physically touching a machine. A slot machine might operate at 92% RTP during a quiet Tuesday afternoon, then get remotely adjusted down to 88% for Saturday night, when the casino knows crowds will be larger and players less likely to notice reduced hit frequency. Paul described weekly meetings where data analysts presented detailed reports on player traffic patterns, then recommended specific RTP adjustments designed to optimize hold during peak periods. The term they used was dynamic floor optimization, but Paul admitted the reality was simply programming machines to pay less when more people were playing. Players naturally assume that machines remain consistent across all time periods. You might play your favorite machine on a Monday morning, experience decent results, then return Saturday evening expecting similar performance from that exact same machine. What you don't know is that the casino adjusted it to operate at the lowest allowable RTP specifically because Saturday night brings maximum traffic. Paul referenced a player named Gary who meticulously documented his play on one specific machine over 6 months. Gary played the same game, same denomination, tracked every session in spreadsheets. His data revealed dramatically different hit frequencies and bonus trigger rates during weekend evenings compared to weekday mornings, the same physical machine producing measurably different results based purely on when he played it. Former technicians provided manufacturer manuals that included detailed instructions for remote adjustment capabilities, and Paul described training sessions where casino managers learned dynamic floor optimization techniques. Some casinos take this practice even further, adjusting machines before major conventions, sporting events, or holiday weekends when tourist traffic increases and players are less likely to be regulars who might notice performance changes. The legal gray area here troubled former employees significantly. Regulations require machines to maintain RTP within approved ranges, but they allow casinos complete discretion to operate at the low end or high end of those ranges whenever they choose. Paul explained that players make betting decisions based on previous session performance, completely unaware that the machine now operates under entirely different settings. But remote adjustments aren't the most controversial secret former employees revealed. Number 10 involves something that several insiders admitted crossed ethical lines they found difficult to justify. Secret number 10, the jackpot winner exploitation. Rachel worked as a marketing director for a major casino resort for 6 years, and she revealed that when players hit significant jackpots, they're immediately flagged for aggressive marketing campaigns, specifically designed to get that money back. The moment you hit a major jackpot, anything over $25,000, you're automatically entered into what Rachel called the high-value player database. Within 48 hours, you'll start receiving targeted mail offers, personalized free play vouchers, complimentary room upgrades, and exclusive event invitations. You'll be assigned a personal casino host whose entire job revolves around maintaining regular contact with you and making you feel valued and special. Rachel described receiving explicit directives to maintain relationships with jackpot winners through phone calls, birthday gifts, handwritten notes, and invitations to exclusive high roller events. The goal was never subtle. Keep them coming back, keep them playing, get the money back. She recounted a player named Deborah who won a $75,000 jackpot on a progressive slot. Within a week, Deborah had a dedicated host, received offers for complimentary luxury suites, got invited to a private concert event, and started receiving personalized gifts for her birthday and holidays. Over the following 18 months, Deborah returned for dozens of promotional visits. Rachel later accessed the player tracking data and discovered that Deborah had lost $82,000 during those visits, more than her entire jackpot win. But here's what made this practice particularly effective. The personal attention created genuine emotional connections. Winners felt like valued VIPs rather than revenue sources being systematically harvested. Rachel provided internal analytics showing that 60 to 70% of major jackpot winners eventually returned significant portions of their winnings to the casino, many ultimately losing more than they'd originally won. The marketing materials specifically targeted jackpot winners during cooling off periods when initial excitement faded and reality set in. Rachel described CRM systems that automatically generated personalized campaigns triggered by jackpot wins, with messaging carefully calibrated based on player age, gambling frequency, and psychological profile. The exploitation of elderly jackpot winners particularly haunted former employees. Rachel recounted an 81-year-old woman who won $48,000, received intensive personal hosting, and lost $63,000 over the next year, money that came from refinancing her home based on the temporary wealth the jackpot created. And now for the final secret, the one that former employees say represents the future of casino manipulation and the practice that made several insiders question whether they could ethically remain in the industry. Secret number 11, the predictive behavior algorithms. Christopher worked as a senior data analyst for a casino corporation that operates 17 properties across North America, and what he revealed about artificial intelligence integration represents the most sophisticated level of player manipulation ever deployed on casino floors. The newest casino management systems use machine learning algorithms to predict when individual players are about to quit gambling, then trigger precisely timed interventions designed to extend their sessions. Christopher explained that these systems integrate data from player cards, real-time betting pattern analysis, session duration tracking, and historical win-loss trends to generate what the industry calls likelihood to leave scores. These scores update continuously, second by second, as you play. When the algorithm detects that your behavior matches patterns associated with imminent departure, it alerts floor staff to intervene. Christopher described watching the system in action during his final months with the company. A casino manager would receive a notification on their tablet showing a high-value player's likelihood to leave score had crossed the threshold. Staff were immediately dispatched with drink offers, casual conversation, or promotional vouchers, all timed for the exact moment when you'd mentally decided to cash out and leave. But here's where the technology becomes truly invasive. The artificial intelligence identifies specific behavioral triggers unique to each individual player. Some players receive interventions after losses, others after wins. The timing gets personalized based on your individual psychology, learned from months or years of tracked behavior. Christopher referenced a player named Steven who became convinced something strange was happening after he noticed a pattern. Every single time Steven decided he was finished gambling, within 90 seconds someone approached him with a drink, a promotional offer, or friendly conversation. Steven started documenting these incidents. Over 3 months, he recorded 8 separate instances where these perfectly timed interventions changed his decision to leave, resulting in an average of 47 additional minutes of play per occurrence. Former IT staff provided documentation showing that casino systems now integrate facial recognition technology, player card tracking, and betting pattern analysis into unified platforms that create comprehensive behavioral profiles. Christopher revealed that major casino operators have invested millions specifically in predictive analytics designed to extend session duration. Some of the most advanced systems even trigger machine-level interventions. When the algorithm detects disengagement behavior, it can prompt small wins, bonus round triggers, or promotional pop-ups on the specific machine you're playing. The technology operates within current regulations, but it represents an unprecedented level of behavioral manipulation that few players realize exists. What troubled Christopher most was watching these systems target elderly players. He described monitoring an algorithm identify the moment when a 74-year-old woman showed signs of clarity about her losses, then watching staff receive alerts to intervene exactly as she reached for the cash-out button. The intervention worked. She kept playing and lost another $900 over the next 2 hours. Christopher emphasized that this technology remains in early development stages. Former insiders predict the next 5 years will bring even more sophisticated manipulation as artificial intelligence capabilities improve and casinos refine their behavioral prediction models. So there you have it. 11 secrets that former casino employees and slot technicians finally revealed after years of watching these practices from the inside. From strategic placement algorithms to predictive artificial intelligence, casinos deploy sophisticated systems designed to maximize the time you spend playing and the money you spend betting. This information comes directly from documented reports, former employee testimonies, and internal casino documents that were never meant for public exposure. Now that you know these secrets, you can make more informed decisions the next time you walk onto a casino floor. If you found this information valuable, make sure to subscribe because I'll be revealing more insider casino secrets that could save you thousands of dollars. Let me know in the comments which of these 11 secrets shocked you the most, and whether you've personally experienced any of these manipulation tactics without realizing what was really happening. Thanks for watching, and remember, the house always has an edge, but knowledge gives you a fighting chance.